Visual methods basically involves using any kind of visual material within your research. So either you can use photographs, drawings, piece of video, piece of theatre, or longer pieces where you have a collection of pictures. You can have an exhibition, a collage, a mural. All of these things kind of basically can be used in visual research. Either the participants can create them themselves, or the researcher can produce them for the research, or even we can use an archive where there is no participant really, except you have a piece of visual data that you will then use within your research. There are lots of advantages to using visual methods. For me, the most important advantage is that it's participatory. I work with children, so I want to have a method that will engage them in the research, but also it means that it breaks down the power differential that's between me and the participant, me as the researcher, that is, and allows them to participate more and actually actively engage and take control over their role within the research. And that's also really useful when you work in a different cultural context as well, because it can break down a lot of the linguistic barriers that are there when I'm working in another country. Visual methods can be used basically in all disciplines. Most of the time in the literature you tend to see it in anthropology, sociology, psychology, education. I even know some people are using it in public healthcare. But essentially, as long as you feel it's appropriate for your research aims, then you can use it in any discipline. My doctoral research is based in Kenya, and I work with street children who are leaving the street, and I want to understand about their experiences as they make that move. I used what's called autophotography, where a particular group of children, I gave them cameras and I asked them to go around their school and around the centre where they were living, taking pictures of objects that would help them to tell me the story of their leaving the street. They then brought those photographs into an interview with me, a photo elicitation interview, and we talked about each of those photographs, why they were important, and then I understood a lot more depth to their moving from the street than had happened in an original narrative interview. The session on visual methods will look generally an overview of what visual methods are out there and how they're used, different ways that we can look at images and analyse images. It'll be partly kind of lecture-led, but then we'll also have an interactive analysis activity in which everyone can have a kind of hands-on approach to visual methods. And then we'll wrap up looking at the ways in which the students within the room can possibly use visual methods within their own research projects. This one is Image-Based Research by John Prosser. Even though it's a 1998 book, so it predates digital technology, it's a really useful source in terms of looking at actually the content of images themselves, as well as going to how we can use images within the research. So it gives you a nice kind of like grounding, or an open grounding of all the different possible ways in. One thing about visual methods is it always sounds like fun, and I'm forever meeting people who are like, oh, I'd really like to do that. But one thing I would suggest is that you need to make sure it's appropriate and that it actually fits your research needs and your research question.